Bun's legendary rewrite from Zig to Rust has been one of the hottest topics on tech YouTube for the past week. The creator of Zig completely crashed out in a blog post in which he basically trashed Bun and its creator. And all the tech influencers jumped in to add fuel to the fire. Fireship made a video, the Primogen made a video, Theo made a video, and tech Twitter has been having a field day. But there's one thing all this drama is missing: a totally unbiased, well-measured opinion. That's where I come in. Now, for those of you who are employed and don't have time to pay attention to internet tech drama, let me give you a quick recap. So this story starts with Bun, which is a JavaScript and TypeScript toolchain. And when Bun version 1.0 was released in 2023, one of the biggest selling points of Bun was its speed. For example, in this 1.0 blog post, they say that Bun is 4 times faster than Node.js. Also, the dependency install speeds are much faster than NPM or Yarn. And the built-in test runner is again much faster than other existing test runners. So again, one of the biggest selling points was the speed. And that level of speed was partly due to the fact that Bun was originally written in the Zig programming language. Now, fast forward to December 2nd, 2025, and we get this blog post stating that Bun is joining Anthropic. Now, keep in mind that Bun was an open source JavaScript toolkit. So Anthropic was basically paying to acquire the maintainer and the creator of Bun. And according to the blog post, this is because Anthropic has been betting on Bun as the infrastructure to power Claude Code, Claude Agent SDKs, and the future of AI coding products and tools. Later on in the blog post, it states that being part of Anthropic gives Bun some advantages like long-term stability and more firepower, meaning that there will be more engineers working on Bun. Essentially, Anthropic is paying money to make sure Bun is well maintained, and also acquiring the power to steer Bun in the direction that makes sense for Anthropic. Now, after Anthropic acquired Bun in December of 2025, the creator of Bun, Jared Sumner, posts a blog post on July 8th of 2026, stating that he's rewriting Bun to Rust. Now, typically, huge rewrites like this are a huge undertaking and typically the wrong choice. Normally, you wouldn't do something like this unless there's a really good reason. But in this case, things were slightly different. Because instead of assembling an entire engineering team to do this rewrite over months and months, Jared decided to do it with AI. Specifically the pre-release version of Claude Fable, which he had access to because Bun was now part of Anthropic. Now, there are some really fancy and awesome animations in this blog post explaining how exactly this rewrite was done, but essentially he used 16 parallel Claude agents to do the rewrite. Additionally, for some context, this rewrite was thoughtful, it was a phased process, and the codebase had a lot of tests to make sure things didn't regress. And here we can see the replay of how those tests started off as failing, but eventually as the Claude agents did their work, the tests started to pass, until by day 11, all of the tests were green and the rewrite was basically done. Now, did Jared one-shot a Zig to Rust rewrite? No. Again, it was a phased approach, and in this blog post, he goes over some of the porting mistakes, the fact that there were 19 regressions. Also, there was a lot of unsafe code in the resulting codebase, and a good amount of manual work still needed to be done to get the codebase in a place where it could be shipped to production. But the resulting codebase did have improvements. For example, the new Rust binary was smaller, there was a 10% faster startup time, and at least one company, Prisma Compute, who used the beta version of the Rust rewrite, noticed that the memory leaks that they were experiencing in the old Zig version were gone in the Rust version. So in summary, Jared decided to use 16 parallel Claude agents to rewrite the entire codebase of Bun from Zig to Rust in 11 days. He released this blog post on July 8th, and only a day later, we get a blog post from the creator of Zig. The blog post was titled "My Thoughts on the Bun Rust Rewrite." Now, I want to go through some highlights here, but the first few sentences really give you a picture of what Andrew Kelly, the creator of Zig, was thinking. Andrew says, "When Jared joined the Zig community about 5 years ago, I described him as someone who had strong beginner energy. That is, he moved fast and tried a lot of different stuff, jumping headfirst into problems that he was not yet equipped to solve, leading to mediocre outcomes in terms of engineering, but learning a whole heck of a lot in the process. I see as quite a healthy attitude, particularly for young people and students. This is the best way to level up and learn new things." So right off the bat, it does come off as pretty patronizing. And the rest of the blog post basically follows this same pattern. Here, Andrew states that the Zig team was increasingly horrified at the programming practices they saw in Bun's codebase, claiming that there were hacks on top of hacks. And then he drops this gem. He says Jared, the founder of Bun, was already writing slop well before he had access to LLMs. Andrew also mentioned that Anthropic acquiring Bun was a good thing because having Zig associated with Bun was indirectly leading to drive-by slop contributions and an influx of tasteless AI enthusiasts into Zig communities. He also goes on to mention that Jared's blog post is expertly written. It's almost like the marketing department of a trillion-dollar company has a lot of money riding on this article, basically implying that Anthropic used Bun and Jared for a PR stunt. So yes, Andrew Kelly, the creator of Zig, was not happy, and tech influencers like Theo called out the blog post as being an emotional, personal attack, which was not good for Zig. So a few things come to mind when reading this story. The first one is, was this a marketing stunt by Anthropic? Now I'm going to do some speculation here and say, yes, I think at least to a large extent, this probably was heavily influenced by Anthropic. Claude Fable was coming out. This was a very interesting use case of the new model, and obviously it generated a ton of PR. I mean, we're talking about it right now. So yeah, I think at least part of this was influenced by Anthropic's marketing team, but I think another reason for this rewrite was genuinely because Jared wanted to try out Rust for the memory safety benefits and wanted to try out using Claude to see if the rewrite could be done with AI. The second question is, how bad is this PR for Zig? Is this the nail in the coffin for Zig? In my opinion, no. I think Zig is going to continue to stick around. I think it has its use cases, especially if you're looking for an alternative to C. And one controversy like this is not going to kill a language. I mean, just take a look at Rust, right? It's had its fair bit of controversy over the years. And then the next question is, what does this mean for software development? The fact that you can use 16 parallel Claude agents and rewrite an entire codebase from Zig to Rust. Well, I think really what this means is that anything that can be rewritten in Rust will eventually be rewritten in Rust. Now, jokes aside, I do think this is a very interesting use case for AI and shows the power of what AI could do if you give it the right amount of guardrails. For example, Bun's codebase seemed to be very well tested. So when AI was doing the rewrite, the tests would indicate whether things regressed or not. And second of all, I do think the rewrite was easier because of Rust itself. Rust is a very strongly typed language. It has memory safety guardrails, and it has the unsafe escape hatch. So with the Zig rewrite, you can see exactly where those unsafe blocks are, which would tell you where the potential memory issues would be. And now that people know you can use tools to rewrite code bases from one language to another, I actually do think that more and more code bases will be rewritten for better or for worse. Because Jared basically proved out that rewriting software is not as much of a burden as it was in the past. Now, one bit of context here is that Jared used $165,000 of AI credits to do the rewrite. And obviously he didn't have to pay that himself. Anthropic just gifted him those tokens. All that to say that it's not free. In fact, it's very costly. But if you think about it, if you were to hire an engineering team to do this, then that would also be very, very expensive. Probably more than the $165,000 it took for AI to rewrite the codebase. Even before this Zig to Rust Bun rewrite, people were already rewriting tools to Rust. For example, Python tools and libraries like Polars, and JavaScript tooling like TurboPack. And now that we know AI can do these rewrites, or at least help with these rewrites, I do actually expect that more things will be rewritten to Rust. But let me know what you guys think about this rewrite and in general what this means for software development in the comments section down below. And if you're interested in learning how to write production Rust, check out our Rust Lab Accelerator. It's our tailored mentorship program where we help developers go beyond YouTube videos, build production-grade Rust systems, and land their first Rust job. You can join the waitlist for the next cohort by heading over to letsgetrusty.com/join or by clicking the link in the pinned comment below. When you join the waitlist, we'll also send you our Rust developer roadmap as a free gift. So tap the link, join the waitlist, and I'll talk to you very soon.